The power of words extends far beyond mere communication. The sentences we repeat to ourselves daily possess an almost alchemical ability to transform our entire approach to life's inevitable challenges. While most people allow external circumstances to dictate their emotional state, the ancient Stoics discovered something profound. The words we choose to live by can become the foundation of unshakable mental strength, clarity, and peace of mind. In our modern world, we face an endless barrage of stressors, disappointments, and unexpected setbacks. The natural human tendency is to react impulsively, letting emotions surge and subside like ocean waves, carrying us wherever they will. Yet there exists an alternative path, one walked by some of history's greatest minds, from Marcus Aurelius, commanding the Roman Empire, to Epictetus, teaching from his humble school. These Stoic philosophers understood that true power lies not in controlling external events, but in mastering our internal responses to them. The practice of daily self-reminders forms the cornerstone of Stoic mental training. Just as athletes condition their bodies through repetitive exercises, we can condition our minds through repetitive philosophical affirmations. These are not empty platitudes or wishful thinking, but practical tools forged in the crucible of real-world experience. When integrated into daily life, they create a mental framework that remains steady regardless of external turbulence. The first, and perhaps most fundamental principle that should echo through your consciousness each day is the recognition that you control your mind, not external events. This simple statement contains within it the essence of all Stoic wisdom. Most human suffering stems not from what actually happens to us, but from our interpretation and reaction to those events. Consider the commuter who encounters heavy traffic on their way to an important meeting. The traffic itself is morally neutral, it simply exists. The suffering comes from the internal narrative. This always happens to me. I'm going to be late and look unprofessional. Why can't people drive properly? The Stoic practitioner, faced with the same situation, employs this daily reminder as a mental circuit breaker. Rather than allowing frustration to cascade into anger and stress, they recognize that while they cannot control the traffic, they retain complete sovereignty over their response to it. They might use the time for reflection, listening to educational content, or simply practicing presence. The external circumstances remain identical, yet the internal experience transforms entirely. This principle extends to every aspect of life, from relationship conflicts to professional setbacks, from health challenges to financial difficulties. The second, daily reminder involves embracing the profound truth that this moment is all we truly possess. Marcus Aurelius, despite commanding the most powerful empire in human history, regularly reminded himself not to act as if he had 1,000 years to live. This perspective seems counterintuitive in our goal-oriented society, where we're constantly encouraged to plan for the future and learn from the past. Yet the Stoics understood that while planning and learning have their place, life itself can only be lived in the present moment. When we anchor ourselves in the present, something remarkable happens. The anxiety that comes from projecting into an uncertain future begins to dissolve. The regret that stems from dwelling on past mistakes loses its grip. We become fully available to whatever is happening right now, whether it's a conversation with a loved one, a challenging work project, or even a mundane task like washing dishes. This presence doesn't mean abandoning all planning or goal setting, but rather ensuring that our planning serves the present moment rather than stealing from it. The practice of present moment awareness also reveals how much of our suffering is self-created through mental time travel. We torture ourselves with scenarios that may never occur, or replay past events that cannot be changed. By returning to the simple recognition that this moment is all we have, we redirect our energy toward what can actually be influenced: our current thoughts, words, and actions. The third principle requires us to completely reframe our relationship with difficulty and discomfort. Rather than viewing pain and obstacles as enemies to be avoided, the Stoic recognizes them as invaluable teachers. This perspective shift represents one of the most challenging yet transformative aspects of Stoic practice. Our culture generally promotes the avoidance of discomfort, offering countless distractions and quick fixes for any form of unpleasant experience. The Stoic path demands something different: the willingness to face difficulty head-on and extract wisdom from it. Consider the entrepreneur whose business fails, the athlete who suffers an injury, or the student who fails an important exam. The conventional response involves minimizing the pain, seeking immediate comfort, or finding external factors to blame. The Stoic approach involves sitting with the discomfort long enough to understand what it's teaching. Perhaps the business failure reveals the importance of better market research or financial planning. The injury might teach patience and the value of proper preparation. The failed exam could highlight the need for different study methods or better time management. This doesn't mean seeking out unnecessary suffering or becoming masochistic about difficulty. Rather, it means recognizing that since challenges are inevitable, we might as well extract maximum value from them. Every setback becomes a laboratory for developing resilience, wisdom, and character. The pain of discipline, whether in physical fitness, professional development, or personal relationships, becomes preferable to the pain of regret that comes from avoiding necessary growth. The fourth daily reminder involves the radical practice of expecting nothing while appreciating everything. This principle directly addresses one of the primary sources of human misery: the gap between expectation and reality. We construct elaborate mental models of how people should behave, how situations should unfold, and how life should treat us. When reality fails to conform to these expectations, disappointment and frustration inevitably follow. The Stoic approach doesn't involve becoming pessimistic or cynical. Instead, it involves releasing attachment to specific outcomes while remaining fully engaged in the process. When we expect our friends to always be available, our work to always go smoothly, or our health to remain consistently good, we set ourselves up for inevitable disappointment. When we release these expectations while maintaining appreciation for whatever does occur, we become virtually immune to disappointment while remaining open to pleasant surprises. This practice extends to our expectations of others. Rather than demanding that people behave according to our standards or preferences, we can appreciate their humanity while maintaining our own principles. The colleague who consistently arrives late, the family member who forgets important dates, the friend who cancels plans. These behaviors become neutral facts rather than personal affronts when we release our expectations about how others should act. The fifth principle serves as a powerful antidote to both overwhelming problems and excessive attachment to positive experiences. Everything is temporary. This truth applies equally to our darkest moments and our greatest triumphs. The recognition of impermanence doesn't diminish the value of positive experiences or minimize the reality of current difficulties. Instead, it provides perspective that prevents us from becoming trapped in either extreme. When facing a particularly challenging period, whether it's a health crisis, relationship difficulties, financial stress, or professional setbacks, the reminder that everything is temporary provides hope and encourages perseverance. The pain feels overwhelming precisely because it dominates our current experience, making it seem as though it will last forever. The Stoic understanding of impermanence cuts through this illusion, revealing that even the most intense experiences are temporary phenomena in the larger flow of life. Conversely, when experiencing success, joy, or contentment, the recognition of impermanence prevents excessive attachment and the subsequent fall that comes when circumstances inevitably change. The promotion, the relationship milestone, the financial windfall, all wonderful experiences that can be fully enjoyed without clinging. This perspective allows for complete appreciation in the moment while maintaining equanimity when change occurs. The sixth and final daily reminder confronts perhaps the most fundamental aspect of human existence: our mortality. Memento mori, remember that you will die, might seem morbid to modern sensibilities, but the Stoics understood it as the ultimate motivator for authentic living. When we truly accept that our time is finite, everything changes. Petty grievances lose their power. Procrastination becomes obviously counterproductive. The approval of others matters less than living according to our deepest values. This awareness of mortality serves as a clarifying lens for all decisions. The question, how would I spend today if it were one of my last, isn't meant to promote reckless behavior or abandonment of responsibility. Instead, it highlights what truly matters. Would you waste precious time in meaningless arguments? Would you postpone expressing love and gratitude? Would you delay pursuing your most important goals while waiting for perfect conditions? The practice of memento mori also generates profound gratitude for the simple fact of being alive. Each breath, each conversation, each sunset becomes a gift rather than an entitlement. This gratitude naturally leads to greater presence, kindness, and purposeful action. When we truly understand that our days are numbered, we become less likely to squander them on activities that don't align with our deepest values and aspirations. These 6 principles work synergistically, each reinforcing and deepening the others. The recognition that we control our minds makes it easier to stay present. Present moment awareness helps us see difficulties as teachers. Viewing challenges as learning opportunities reduces our attachment to specific outcomes. Releasing expectations makes it easier to accept impermanence. Understanding impermanence deepens our appreciation for the finite nature of life. And remembering our mortality brings us back to the fundamental choice we face in each moment. How to respond with wisdom and virtue. The key to transforming these principles from interesting ideas into life-changing practices lies in consistency and repetition. Just as physical fitness requires regular exercise, mental resilience requires daily training. The goal isn't perfection, but progress, gradually developing the mental habits that serve us during both ordinary days and extraordinary challenges. Beginning each day by mentally rehearsing these reminders creates a foundation of wisdom that remains accessible throughout the day's events. When traffic jams threaten to trigger frustration, the prepared mind recalls that external events cannot control internal peace. When disappointments arise, the trained consciousness remembers that expectations are optional, while appreciation remains available. When difficulties emerge, the practiced perspective recognizes teachers in disguise. The beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity and universality. These principles don't require special equipment, expensive training, or perfect circumstances. They can be practiced by anyone, anywhere, at any time. Whether you're a busy parent juggling multiple responsibilities, a professional facing career challenges, a student navigating academic pressures, or a retiree adjusting to life changes, these daily reminders provide a stable foundation for navigating whatever life presents. Moreover, the benefits extend beyond personal peace of mind. When we embody these principles, we become more patient with others, more resilient in the face of setbacks, more grateful for simple pleasures, and more focused on what truly matters. Our relationships improve because we're less reactive and more accepting. Our work becomes more purposeful because we're driven by internal values rather than external validation. Our overall life satisfaction increases because we're not constantly at war with reality. The ancient Stoics faced many of the same fundamental challenges we encounter today: difficult relationships, health problems, financial concerns, political uncertainty, and the universal human struggles with meaning and mortality. Their wisdom remains relevant because it addresses the unchanging aspects of human nature rather than temporary cultural phenomena. By adopting their daily practices, we connect with the tradition of wisdom that has helped countless individuals develop unshakable inner strength and clarity. The invitation is simple: begin tomorrow morning with these 6 reminders. Let them echo through your consciousness as you navigate the day's events. Notice how they gradually shift your perspective from reactive to responsive, from victim to agent, from scattered to focused. The transformation won't happen overnight, but with consistent practice, these principles will become second nature, providing an unshakable foundation for whatever life may bring. True strength isn't about controlling the world around us, it's about mastering ourselves. In a culture that often emphasizes external achievements and circumstances, the Stoic path offers something far more valuable: the ability to remain centered, purposeful, and peaceful regardless of what happens around us. These 6 daily reminders provide the roadmap for that journey, one day and one choice at a time.